name is Gust808. Today I'm going to be going over the second position in Tekken 8. I've already done a video like this, but I've had a lot of requests to do a video in this game specifically, so here we are. Today I'm going to be going over the different techniques that you can use for second position. I'm going to be going over how to practice them, and I'm going to be going over a couple techniques for player 2 side that might help you, but I personally think are kind of gimmicky. So let's get right back into it. So the first thing I'm going to go over is the Korean backdash. Korean backdash is definitely not as important in this game as it has been in other games, but it's still a very important tool. It's usually done on Hitbox with a really easy technique, and this technique isn't hard to learn. I'll show it to you right now. This is the normal way to do it, or as most people would call it, the normal way. You hold back, and using SOCD cleaning, which is basically when I hold two directions at the same time, I get a different input. So down plus up equals up, left plus right equals neutral. We can use this to do a backdash by holding down my back button. I'll isolate my fingers so you can see. I'm just holding down my back button, and I'm going to alternate between these two buttons right here without letting go of my back button. So to just recap, I'm going to be holding back and alternating between down and forward while holding back. And when done correctly, you'll get a backdash. Now there's a bit of a delay between when I press forward and when I press back. This is to allow the backdash to rock and get my full distance. If I just do it quickly, you'll see that she'll just kind of jitter in place, which is still a Korean backdash. You're still getting the correct input, but you're not doing the full backdash. So by putting that little delay in, we can backdash fairly easily. And then we can slide our fingers like this to make it a little quicker. And this is what I see a lot of players doing to backdash. Now we're going to show it on player 2 side. Same concept. We're just holding back and alternating between down and forward. Sliding technique works here as well. I prefer to do this on player 2 side. This is actually how I backdash on player 2 side. Second position backdash does not work on player 2 side. I have not found a method with the normal hitbox layout to get it to work consistently. So moving on, we're going to show you the second position method of backdashing. This is a little bit more complicated, but it's still a very good method, and it's the method that I personally use to backdash on player 1 side. We're going to hold back, just as the first method, and we're going to do the exact same technique, but I'm going to use both of my hands. So all I'm going to do is the same input, but I'm going to use my entire left hand for my back input and my entire right hand for my forward input, which allows me to backdash much quicker and fluid. You can backdash too fast like this. Cheater backdash. And I'll do this really slowly. I'm just sliding my fingers over the buttons. See the input? That's a perfect Korean backdash input. Back, down, back, back. You see I'm getting a backdash every time. So yeah, that's backdash. There's not really a way to do this second position technique on this side. I recommend using this technique. I find it to be very, very useful. Again, I recommend using the original technique to backdash on the player 2 side. I think it's the most efficient way to do so, personally. And I'm still practicing it. I'm still not very great on my player 2 side. It needs work. So to practice second position backdash, it's actually very simple. All you're going to do is you're going to look at my hands and you're going to get this motion down and you're going to copy it as slow as you possibly can. So watching my hands here at the bottom, we're going to hold back. We're going to tap down with our middle finger or our middle and pointer finger, whatever is comfortable here. You can use 2 fingers, you can use 1 finger. You're going to hold back and tap this button. And the moment you release this button, you're going to release it and tap your forward input. You're just going to slide your finger across it. And if you do it slowly from holding down, you should wake up and do a backdash immediately, just like this. And you just got to get used to this motion. And it's a fairly simple motion. And you don't have to slide your finger if you find that to be uncomfortable. I just like to slide my finger because I find it to be the most comfortable way to do the input. But yeah, we're just going to practice this motion as slow as possible until we got it down. Until we got it down consistently. And just a little slowdown of what I'm doing. I am sliding my fingers on both inputs like this. And that's what makes it very easy for me. All right. So the next thing we're going to go over is what I just showed. We're going to go over the wave dash with second position. We're going to go over how to do it and how to practice it. So to do the wave dash input normally is fairly simple, and there's a couple different ways to do it, but the most common method is you tap forward and then you roll a quarter circle. Rolling a quarter circle is fairly simple on Hitbox if it's not something you've done before. I'll walk you through the process. Now, to roll a quarter circle, you hold down, transition to down forward, and then let go of your down input. You're essentially walking your fingers across the buttons, and you want to be very precise with what button is released at what time. So again, you're going to start with down, transition to down forward, and then you're going to roll to your forward input, and that's going to give you your quarter circle motion. So by tapping forward and then doing a quarter circle, we can do a crouch dash input. And by repeating this method, forward quarter circle, forward quarter circle, forward quarter circle, we get our wave dash over and over again. Forward quarter circle, forward quarter circle. Now, if you notice in my inputs, there's a neutral. That neutral is important, but you're going to hit the neutral naturally just by lifting your fingers up. So I don't want you to think about it too much. A lot of players get hung up on that neutral input and it confuses them. So just worry about tapping forward and then rolling a quarter circle. That's what your input should look like. Forward, space, and then down, down, forward, and forward. If your inputs look like this, your wave dash will be clean and fluid every time. And to do this with second position, we're going to use some of the techniques that we've already learned and apply them. So I'm going to tap down. I'm going to do my whole quarter circle motion with my left hand, the entire motion of the quarter circle, and I'm going to let the forward input happen on my right hand. Now, by doing this, I'm able to speed up the motion of what I'm doing. Now, let me slow this down for you so it's a little easier for you to see. I'm tapping forward, and then I'm rolling a quarter circle with this hand. Forward, quarter circle, forward, quarter circle. That's right, left, right, left, right, left. And that lets me get some pretty nuts speeds when I'm really warmed up. I'm not too warmed up here. Just did a crazy misinput. There we go. And you want to be, even though I'm going really quick, I'm still really precise with my inputs. And this is something that I've practiced for an extended period of time. And with just some practice and some dedication, it's something that you can definitely pick up and add to your skill set. It can definitely, add that extra bit of potency to your wave dash mix up. It can really catch people off guard when you do 5 wave dashes in their face after a heat dash. It can really surprise people in this situation where you're getting mixed up. It's pretty scary, in a lot of different instances. So the next thing I'm going to go over is Electric Wind Godfist. I'm going to go over just the second position because there's tons and tons and tons of videos on how to do Electric Wind Godfist with the first position. I'll just show it what it looks like. I'm not going to go into in depth. Electric Wind Godfist on first position, which is the normal way it's done, is going to be done by tapping forward, releasing, going to down, and then tapping forward and these two buttons at the same time. They'll show up as down, forward, and 2. You see right here, if you look at my inputs, it says down, down, forward, and then down, forward, and 2. That's an incorrect input. You want it to just show down, forward, and 2 like that. That means you hit them on the same frame. So again, the normal input is going to be forward, down, down, forward, and 2 at the same time. If you do it quick enough, it should look like that, and you'll get an electric. Just like that. Now, the way I input electrics on this side of the screen is a little different. I actually do forward, down, and then I hit my forward and 2 with the same hand. So I'm isolating these two fingers and I'm coming down at the same time on my forward and my 2 input right here, my forward and my 2 input. So it's going to be forward, down, and then my hand's going to come down on these two buttons at the same time, just like this. And when done in one motion, you'll always get your electric almost every single time if you're doing it correctly. That time I was a little sloppy. And you just want to make sure that this hand is coming down on these two buttons at the same time. That's what's most important. So a little bit of a demonstration here. You get the point. I almost did his entire health bar. It's a very, very potent technique. On player 2 side, unfortunately, there aren't a lot of methods for doing the electric with both hands. So I personally recommend just learning how to do the regular electric on player 2 side. It is definitely far from the end of the world in terms of execution requirements. It might seem really daunting and really scary, but as long as when you're doing the electric on this side, you're very aware of when your button comes down on your forward input and your 2 input, then you should hit it every time. So that's forward, down, down, forward, and 2. These two fingers at the same time when you're on player 2 side. This motion, when you're hitting forward and 2 at the same time, should feel like you're hitting one button, one big button. That might sound a little strange, but once you hit these two buttons at the exact same time, you'll notice that there's a difference in the feeling. Usually it sort of feels like you're hitting one right before the other. But when you hit them at the same time, it almost feels like you're hitting one singular button. And that's the feeling we're going for. We're trying to isolate that sensation of the buttons and getting that down in our muscle memory. That's kind of the power of Hitbox, is that when people talk about, oh, you can feel the precision so much more, this is what they mean when you can feel the precision, is you can truly feel when you're hitting two buttons at the same time. Some quick player 2 bonus stuff is you can backdash with the player 1 wave dash method on player 2. And this is actually a pretty consistent way to backdash because you're still blocking while you're holding back. If you are not sure how to do this, you can refer to the section of the video that goes over how to wave dash with second position. It's the exact same technique. Now, to do a wave dash on player 2 side, you have to hold forward, tap back, and then roll a quarter circle from back to down, if that makes sense. I'll do it slowly for you. So you hold forward, tap back, and then roll a quarter circle from back to down. And if done in motion, it'll look like this. Doing a wave dash after this, or doing a electric after this, quite difficult. That's why I don't necessarily recommend, and I find this to be a little gimmicky. Like, it's just a lot easier to go into your electric input when you're doing it the normal way. And that about wraps it up for me. I expect a Reyna guide soon, I'd say. Working on a couple other things. I've been playing a lot of Steve recently, so maybe I'll have a guide out for him. I definitely want to do some more like character orientated stuff or do some more content. I've been in a bit of a slump recently. I doubt like a lot of you watching will get to this part of the video, but if you do, thank you for those who have tuned in to the clips and stuff that I've been posting here and there. I've been doing what I can to sort of stay interested, but with the current state of the game, I definitely struggle to have fun. But I think focusing more on doing content and things like that will definitely help a lot in terms of staying motivated. Again, I wanted to thank everybody who's come out to the channel. I've had some pretty dang cool growth recently. I'm definitely nowhere near a lot of other Tekken channels, but I still appreciate the following, and I appreciate those of you who tune in consistently, and those of you who also tune into my streams. That's also huge. Follow me on Twitch and YouTube if you subscribe if you haven't. I do stream occasionally. You'll get live notifications whenever I go live, and I go live to Twitch and YouTube at the same time, so it doesn't matter which platform you're watching me on. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I hope you have a good day. Later.